Hello my lovely ravens, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel and today I'll be showing you around the book room or miniature storage room. So I hope you sit back, relax and enjoy. So like I just said, I am going to show you around at this room that you see behind me. I will not be showing any novels of any kind, but I will show you, well, there's a few novels in there, I suppose, but the books that interest me, I will show you, but not like your everyday kind of novels. Art books, miniatures, how I store them, Dumbledore's office, the matchboxes as well. But let's just have a look around, shall we? There is a ring light in this room because the lighting in here is absolutely terrible. But let's go. So there are a few books that I want to show you, which is this series, Nevermore. It's by Jessica Townsend, an Australian writer. This was the first, second, and this is the third book. This one is signed by her. I got this one in a box. And this is the next best thing after Harry Potter, or so I think. I still have to go through this one and the third one. I will not tell you anything else, you can look at it by yourself. And I cannot wait to get into this series. So what's not really a series, it's about the background story behind all the evil queens, the Disney bad guy. I don't know if you can call it a series, to be honest. Now I'm gonna turn the camera around because I am going to show you some miniatures, and then we're gonna go around to Dumbledore's office and then to the other side where more miniatures are stored and art books. Also, this is by Danny at Wizardry Workshop. I put the feathers on myself, but that's one of the printables that you can download from his website. I think they're available for everyone. So moving along to this section, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it all is. So up there we have two statues that I got from my dad a long time ago when he first moved to Australia. He got them on, I think he got them on Singapore airport. And there's one of the miniatures that is the attic. Move down here, we have a shelf dedicated to Alice Madness Returns, or America McGee. This is this book that's a collection of classic fairy tales presented by America McGee, reimagined, and I think it's from the original stories from Grimm. And yeah, it's very graphic, but we got this when we supported them on Kickstarter for Out of the Woods. It's a card game, and they also did this book with a card game and limited edition numbered prints. So yeah, that one I made in one of my videos about, this is a book box about Alice Madness Returns. Then here we just have a creepy shelf, I suppose. Lovecraft short stories, and trust me, I have not read all of them. And 100 ghost stories to read with the lights on, and a little Halloween thing that I got, I think, on special at a craft store of all things a couple of years ago. And I thought it was cool. Then here we have more potion bottles, and there's a funny thing here. So these two are oil and vinegar bottles, but I've actually seen in the boys' dormitory in Gryffindor, you can see these ones with corks on top, and they're water bottles. So that's pretty cool. Let's move on to this one. This is one of the little dioramas that I've done in a live stream. That was a two-part live stream. That was a collaboration that I don't want to talk about. That was a thrift store makeover, as well as that one behind there. And of course, the Jezza room that I won on Jezza's channel. The studio that he doesn't have anymore, and the art supplies that I think they got stolen from him. As in, he commissioned someone and they got stolen. He never sent them back. This is the collaboration I did with Era from Bentley House Minis, Medieval, and paper towel was my prompt. So Medieval was the prompt and paper towel was the material I had to use. So I did that. This is a video from not that long ago where I did a collaboration with Bonita. This is my Gothness diorama from last year that I still really like. And down here, I made that one as a celebration for, I think it was 10k subs. No one watched it, but that's fine. This was a Smart Art box and that had clay in it. This is a bit of an older one, but I still really like this one. This is a phone booth that is normally a, what is it, a money bank. So the money normally goes in the top, but I took the bottom off and made it into this little diorama piece. That was another collaboration that, yeah, it is what it is. Not so sure about this one, but you know. And then we have that one, that was also a collaboration. That was with Caleb from Blandco. Fairy portal, fairy door was the prompt. And down here we have another collaboration with Caitlin from Caitlin McCake. And I made this for that collaboration. You could use it for tabletop game. It is a workshop. And that was a collaboration with my husband where he told a story about, it was a Valentine's story, so yeah, it was about two lovers. So this is almost entirely made out of polymer clay. And then that was the Jezza box. Then moving on, we have Dumbledore's office here, and many of you have asked how I store it. Well, like that. It is standing on the table. And it's doing fine here actually. It is not in the way. Everything is in it. I might have stolen some books in the meantime. As you can see, it's a bit bare there. There's a few gaps here and there. I might have used some books for other things, but everything is there. So that is how I store Dumbledore's office. And that's what the outside looks like. And then in here we have, hello, the matchboxes. So here are all the matchboxes. And that is how I store them. So right now I'm running out of space. So what I might do is blue tack them to the glass when I get more. Then down here, I've turned Teddy around for the people that don't like Teddy. Here are all the polymer clay pieces. Well, mostly polymer clay. Yeah, I think they're mostly polymer clay. That one is, the bunny there is air dry clay. And most of them are thrift store makeovers. And I think I did that one on my second channel. I don't remember. Then we have the coffin, what do I call it? The coffin tree, the tree coffin, and the pumpkin that I made for last year, Gothmas, and the creepy frog that was Halloween last year. And I don't know when I made that teacup, the Aubrey, I'm always confused. From Little Shop of Horrors. I can't remember when exactly I made that one, but I still like it. And then these are two Kangaroo Skulls. No, I did not slaughter a kangaroo. You can find them along the road here, and I got sent them from my friend Lori. And down there, that little archway thing, I made that last year for Birdtober. I'm not calling it Birdtober this year. This year it will be called Mini Spooktober, because I might not want to base my miniatures or my creations every year for this October project around Burton. This year it will be, but you know. And then we have Nightmare Before Christmas, the Jack's chair that, well, I've invented that chair. That's not really his chair, but that is a chair that I think Jack's chair would look like. Then we have Things You Think About in a Bar from Burton, where he's drawn on napkins. The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories, also cloth bound. And then deluxe book with a signed lithograph, art of Tim Burton book. It's a limited edition and I love it so much. It was expensive, but I love it. And then we're gonna move on to this side. Okay, so what do we have here? Up there is a 3D Puzzle of Hogwarts that at some point I really want to make and frame. So that is what the finished piece looks like. And then it looks like the owl is flying out of the image. But it was, I think it was $10. Yeah, there you go. You can see it moving. And then that is from an old video. And I have a tree there. And that is a Rauchmännchen that I got at a German Christmas market at some point. Well, I think I ordered it, but it's you can put incense in there and then it smokes out of his mouth. It's kind of cool. So this used to be my little one's room, and I painted a compass at the back there. But obviously she's not using it right now because she moved to another room. Then moving on down, this is a Monster Book of Monsters that I made quite some time ago. I still like it. It's still cute. I might have to redo it at some point, but yeah, it's quite cute. And then here we have the Element Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures. Absolutely love this book. It has descriptions of magical and mythological creatures in there that are very accurate, and yeah, it's a really nice book. Not many images in there though, but a lot of descriptions. And then here we have a little Harry Potter shrine thing. Fake glasses, of course. The Hogwarts Library books. And hourglass that works. That was a cheap one. $4 I think I paid for this thing. Some old books. Really old books. Tom Riddle's case that I recently bought. And I might have convinced Danny from Wizardry Workshop to buy one as well, because the same seller had another one in their shop as well. That is a little case I got from a subscriber that is also a local artist. So that's pretty cool. She sent that to me and I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank you, Brooke. Two wands. One is Sirius Black's wand and the other one is the Elder wand. And then we have some props back there. So the Marauders map that you can see back there is the Warner Brothers one from a studio tour that I went to a long time ago. I think it was 2014. And that was in LA. And that is the Daily Prophet that you can download from Danny, only for personal use, obviously. Down here we have two dioramas. This was my very, very, very first diorama ever. I still have it, obviously, for sentimental reasons, but it basically started off with this cabinet. I just wanted to make this cabinet for a YouTube video, and then I thought, why not make it into an entire room? And that's how I got into miniatures. We have the very first book of the Mina Lima interactive Harry Potter books, and I've already pre-ordered the second one, which will come out in October of this year. I think. I hope. This is Snape's room, Snape's room at Spinner's End that I created in a YouTube video. The Harry Potter illustrated books by Jim Kay. Really like those illustrations. And here we have the complete Harry Potter collection, but this is the adult, I don't know why they called it adult versions or editions, but basically that's them, and they're very well read. And I think at this point I got into a job in the city, and I decided to read this one. I've read it a few times in book form, but read it on the train in Kindle format. So that's why that one is not as well read. And back there we have a Slytherin stationery set. And then you all know what this box is. This box is where I keep all the Harry Potter Matchbox prompts. It sits in here if I don't use it. And someone recommended to make a little net at the top, so I did that to keep all the other prompts. And that's all the scrolls in there. And then here we have the books where I get all my inspiration from. Some are a little bit damaged, I can see, because I use them so often. And yeah, these are just all the books for my inspo. I wish I could get the page to screen special edition box with the Monster Book of Monsters and all the graphic design books in there as well, but it is very, very expensive. And if you have it and you would like to sell it to me for a reasonable price, I'm happy to. Let me know. Here we have some Weasley's Wizard Wheezes catalogs that are also printables from Denny's website. Down here we have the first editions of the US Harry Potter books. They are all first editions, not first prints, but all early prints. So there is a difference in that as well. Then there is the original screenplay of Fantastic Beasts, The Cursed Child, A Journey Through the History of Magic, and also an official Harry Potter knitting magic book. Now, I don't knit myself, but I do appreciate this book very, very much. And at some point I might get into it, because I do crochet, but I don't knit. Then over here we have a Newt Scamander movie scrapbook. I only got this one because I bought it for $5 at a secondhand store, and it was cheap. It was in mint condition, so I decided to get it. Behind there is the Crimes of Grindelwald, the Art of book. Amazing, amazing art. Very dark imagery, but beautiful, especially if you're into the Fantastic Beasts of those movies. Really good book. Behind that we have the Mina Lima editions of Fantastic Beasts and The Crimes of Grindelwald as well. Also amazing books. There's just so much in there. Then moving on down, we have a very old cookery book, some old Dickens books, a very old Bible. This is interesting. So this book is about the giants and how to fight them. 1862. Poems, another old Bible. I just have a thing for old books. Lewis Carroll, this is a very new book. Also very new book, very new, very new. Very old. Christmas Stories by Dickens. Christmas Carol by Dickens. An old version of Alice in Wonderland. 1953. Tennyson poems. These books are just really, really stunning. And these are some books that I made at a bookmaking course. And Muggles and Magic book. This is about book 1 to 5 and movie 1 to 5 as well. And interviews with J.K. Rowling and her life and props and everything that has to do with the world of Harry Potter. And this shelf, or this bookcase I should say, has some interesting things. So up there are, well, that is a doll. That is Madeline or Madeline Hatter. That is the daughter of the Mad Hatter. And I really like that doll, so I wanted it, and it's in mint condition in box. So I have no idea what it's worth, but I'm just gonna leave it there. Then we have this Alice in Wonderland book, which is just a book box. And then these 3 books are pop-up books. Really, really awesome books. I told you that I have a thing for weird books. Well, I'll just hover here and you can read the titles of these books yourself. Very, very interesting. I have a thing for the medieval period and weird medical things that I did back then. I just find it fascinating how it all developed and evolved over time. Then down here we have the potion shelf. And yes, it's still a little bit bare over there and over there as well. I will put some decorations up over time. This cabinet might not stay there because it takes up a lot of room. So I'm just not sure if that's gonna stay inside there just yet. I might at some point when we move, if we move to a different place, give it a different spot, maybe on the wall somewhere. But here you can see all the potions that I made and a few empty bottles as well. Mostly empty bottles in there too, besides those 2. The grapehorn powder and the belch powder. And some more empty bottles. Advanced potion making journal. So this comes from Denny. And it's basically just a journal with empty pages. With how many signatures did I put in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's just a journal. And more empty bottles and the potions that I made. Some tarot cards that I aged up. Just by sticking some tea bags, some used tea bags over top of it. So that's the potion shelf. And this is my books that I use for journal making. So most of these books are to be taken apart. They are $2 to $5 in thrift stores, and except for this one. That one was an expensive one. I might just use the images that are in there because it's so old, from 1886. And that is a BioShock Little Sister diorama. But yeah, that book was $50. But the other ones are to be made into journals. And down there we have my collection of dollhouse books and doll books, doll making books. So there's that, and there's more journal making stuff. They're just small books and dictionaries. And then going from the bottom on up, this is a shelf with crochet and knitting and sock things. So with sock things, I mean books like that. Stupid sock creatures. And I think these are so awesome. And the guy who made these just uses socks to make these creatures. And he tells you how to do it as well. I thought that was really cool. Then we have some coloring in books over there. I don't use them often anymore, but I still have them. And some sketchbooks that have sketchbook idea generator and the 365 days of creativity. I started that, and well, what do you know? It's in here, so it's not finished. Then this shelf has a lot of, let's go from this side, lettering, fantasy art with maps and geographies, calligraphy, drawing, children's picture books. This is a really good one if you want to illustrate children's books. This is a good book to start. Danny Gregory makes awesome creative license books where you basically journal your life. Same for Dan Price. Drawing books, block printing, Carrie Smith, How to Be an Explorer of the World, really fun book. Another one from Carrie Smith. Know Your Onions. If you like graphic design, this is your Bible for what you need to know about margins, printers, and whatnot. Really recommend that book. Let me see what is interesting. Handmade Books. More Handmade Books. Love that. Botanical art with scientific illustration. That is a course I wanted to do at some point, but it was on the other side of Australia, and I got this book from my husband, so I still need to get into that at some point. Just a book. Botanical drawing in Dutch. These are prompt books. So this is a witchy things to draw prompt book and horror prompt sketchbooks. I've got the first and the second one. I've only done one, which was the zombie frog so far with Beck from Cutest Voodoo. Some things to make your own paint and paper and pigments and prints, and natural botanical dyeing for papers and cloth, because I make journals as well, and this book explains on what results you get with which ingredients. So that is also really recommend that book. These books are very dear to me, so let's just go through them. This book I received for my birthday, The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, the Inside, The Epic Return to Thra. This book is about the art of the Dark Crystal, and I watched it and I saw the making of it as well, and it made me cry because there is so much work and art that goes into this. It's incredible, seriously incredible, and it's just the puppets, the effort that goes into every single detail of the movie. It's just fascinating. Fascinating. There's not many things that made me cry, but that did. Then recently I got this book, and you would think this would be for my daughter, but no, it's for me, because I've never seen anything like this before. It makes sound as well, so you can press the button and then it's interactive on all the rooms. But these castles in this book are the Disney castles, and I think there's 10. Yep, 10. And they're cutouts. They're like, you can see all the rooms and what's inside. And maybe in another life I might attempt one or two or all of them. Isn't that cool? Or maybe a room at a time, but you know, it's I've never seen anything like this before, so I thought it was amazing. Then here we have Sean Tan. Sean Tan is a Perth artist, and he made also The Arrival. That's this one. That is about the arrival of the immigrants into Australia. And this is an art book. I obviously bought it at Boffin's. That is a bookshop. And there are sculptures in here with little stories. So inspirational. Here we have Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide to the Fantastical World Around You. And I bought this book because it's just amazing. Look at the artwork. Again, inspirational. Now, if you know a little bit about the Dark Crystal, you know that Brian Froud, or Froud, however you pronounce that, he did a lot of the artwork, or most of the artwork, and also for Labyrinth. And he also draws fairies, so he's got books about fairies. And I managed to get this one at some point. But he also made a Good Fairies, Bad Fairies book. So these are the bad fairies and the good fairies. It's fun, you can flip the book over and then it's just a different book. Halfway the book it changes. So, but again, so beautiful. Then we have a book about Gothic art, which is what it says, Gothic art, with various different artists in there. It's kind of dark, so I won't get into that. The Arrival by Sean Tan. Del Toro, Cabinet of Curiosities. I still need to go through this book, but you know, it's it says curiosities. How could I not? And I like Del Toro movies in general. The Garden of Eye Candy. Now you might think that this is a weird kind of book. It's not. It has one of my favorite creators in there, which is Nicoletta Ceccoli. She makes amazing artwork. And there's more artists like her in here, like this one. This is Kendra Binney. Just amazing artwork. And this is Lacombe Benjamin. Just gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And it goes on. Moving up is the Edgar Allan Poe room. This was my second diorama. Yeah, my second diorama ever. And I still love it, except for that weird bust that's sitting there. And that's why I'm not doing faces yet. Because, look at that. Ugh. Yeah, nah. So, that one's sitting there. And then next to it is Mr. Allan Poe, of course. The books that are Poe books. And these two are illustrated by Chris Grimley, and I absolutely love his art. It's very Burton-esque, if you ask me. And then up here we have this is a cover of a Nightmare Before Christmas book, because the actual book is in my girl's bedroom because she loves A Nightmare Before Christmas. Got this teapot from a friend of mine. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, so that's why it's sitting on this shelf. And there is Big Eyes, a Tim Burton book, and the Alice in Wonderland art book. Then we have some Alice in Wonderland books here. The Tales from the Dead of Night. Here comes the chopper to chop off your head. The Dark Side of Childhood's Rhymes and Stories. Interesting read. Another Death of Oyster Boy book, which is a softcover. I think I got this one at the thrift store. That was like 10 cents. It looked interesting, so that's why it's there. Another Chris Grimley Tales of Brothers Grimm illustrated book, and Twisted Fairy Tales. So these are the dark kind of fairy tales. And up there, there's some Jack the Ripper stuff. And further up there is the 2 castles that I did in a live stream. My Pixie Sticks collaboration, and an elephant that reminded me of surrealism. And then down here, Harry sitting in the corner. This is a poster of Harry Potter. This is the final movie poster for Deathly Hallows Part 2, and I really like that poster, and it's framed, but because we're renting I can't put it on the wall. And this is a card that I'll take with me if I need to visit someone or something or an event with my miniatures and dioramas. So I will clean this up in a moment, but that was the book room tour. And that is it for my book room / miniature storage room. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hit like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you all next week again for another Matchbox.